Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is finally going to be my review of the Teevolution Terra, a well-known one-to-one G703 clone. It is also very similar to the Pulsar X3, but I do think it is improved in some regards, just like click feeling and specifically sensor position. The Pulsar X3 was a weird one. It was just a mouse that I could not get adjusted to, I did not like very much, and shape-wise, since this is similar, I'm still really not a fan. This is an extremely comfortable shape for palm grip, but for me, such a bulky ergo, it's just not what I prefer for claw. Something like the GPX Dex, which obviously Logitech made the G703, then they released an ergo. They probably think this shape is a bit better. What I notice is it's much lower in the back, so I just have a much better time claw gripping it, but that obviously will come down to preference. And a big thing with the ergos I recommend is that they're generally very expensive, and the Terra is under $100. The pricing is a bit weird because this is like an Indiegogo launch, but the units are shipping soon. It's not like something you have to wait a long time for, and everything about this mouse is just solid. I'm not gonna lie. The weight weighs in at 49, or it's like 52. It's advertised at 49. There's no issues with the balancing. It feels very like somewhat hollow for the size of the mouse. Obviously, the OG G703 came in at like mid-90s, so it's just a completely different experience in the hand. So yeah, what this leads to is spiritually, the Terra feels closer to the Pulsar X3 than it does the G703, just considering like how archaic the G703 feels in comparison. I have no issues with the build quality on my Terra. Like if I squeezed it as hard as I could, yeah, the shell would probably break. Just from regular, even like more than you would normally put amounts of pressure, there's no creaking, rattling, anything that indicates this is not a solid build. There's no type of gap from the like bottom base to the rest of the shell. So yeah, this gets a pass build quality wise. Sure, if I squeezed it as hard as I could versus like an Endgame Gear, a Zowie, GPX Dex, yeah, probably wouldn't fare as well, but nobody's doing that in game, thankfully. Next feature I want to talk about are the clicks. These are using FE opticals. I'm honestly not sure where the streets stand on these versus Omron opticals, but it's a very similar feeling. There's honestly a nice level of tactility. There is definitely a noticeable amount of pre-travel. So yeah, maybe like over time, long term, if you're like slamming the click super hard, I could see them like loosening up a lot. But yeah, honestly, not really anything concerning about the click quality. I guess I'm not majorly concerned would be a better way to put it. There's always some level of concern on like a company's first mouse using thin plastic. You know, I'll admit it, I'm a fucking click skeptic. In terms of latency, nothing really to report, except for I was getting occasional double clicks on 0 MSD bounce, so I have to fucking bump it to 1. And yeah, now I'm gonna do a quick sound comparison between these clicks and the Pulsar X3, because these just had like such a weird stiff. Yeah, I just don't even know. The Kale opticals were one of the worst switches I had ever felt. And then these definitely just have that like standard light run-of-the-mill like Chinese Omron optical implementation, even though these are FE opticals, whatever. Side button design-wise, really, this is just truly fucking peak. It is directly taken from the G703, so these buttons are huge. They're in a friendly position for, I'd imagine, most hand sizes, most script styles. I mean, how could they not be? And yeah, just quality and feeling wise, I would say this is like the perfect level of force. It's a pretty light click, but it's not so light that you could like risk accidentally pressing it, even though I do think that is a pretty overblown issue that has led to many bad side button designs. But yeah, there definitely is some post travel on these, but it's not like they push all the way into the shell. There is a clear point where it like bottoms out at, and yeah, I just don't find these to be bad at all in game. So yeah, in my time using these mice, there's really nothing that the Pulsar X3 has over the Terra. I'm not gonna lie, like if you have an X3, you enjoy it, it's absolutely not a needed upgrade. Some of the bigger differences come in just the like button groove design. That is definitely something where the Terra stayed true to the G703. Pulsar kind of put their own like safer spin on it. The general button height is a bit lower at the lowest point as well. But yeah, these shapes obviously have a lot of similarities. You do have to be kind of Goldilocks to strongly prefer one over the other. I will say the X3 just does seem to have a bit more of like a rounded out, like smoothed out feeling to some of the design elements, but just in the back of your hand, these really do feel identical in terms of just like palm support wise of a design in general. And at least like on this right side where my palm contacts the shape, it does feel higher profile. So there is a bit more of like that asymmetrical hump feeling on the Terra compared to the X3, unless I am just hallucinating, but I really don't think I am. And yeah, I've never been big on the right side design on the G703, so you can see something like the decks, they made it flare out much more towards the back. Just in terms of the middle, it's more preferable for curling your fingers, at least with my grip style. It just felt very slanted and awkward on any variant, any G703 revision I try. This really just is not the ideal shape for me. But yeah, getting back to the Terra, I mean, some aspects like the coating, this is just a very standard, like, rubberized coating. It does seem to, like, kind of pick up dirt. I cleaned the mouse before this video, so you might not be able to see it. And yeah, you can just see, like, any grime or fuzz on your hand, it will transfer onto the mouse. You can wipe it right off. It doesn't, like, make the mouse feel slippery, affect the coating in any way. It is just a visual thing worth pointing out. The mouse skates they provide have this, like, dotted core pad air style design. It's very random, and these definitely do have a break-in period. The first few days, the glide was pretty trash, but now you can see I'm on this, like, Launda Blitz rounded edge design, and the glide is very good. Like, I don't really have anything to note. But this is the same exact skate design as the G703, which is something that we really don't see often, even with, like, one-to-one clones. So you can just buy any aftermarket skates for the 703 and throw them on the Terra. And yeah, I don't know if Teevolution, however you say it, is a sub-brand of anybody or if they really just popped up out of nowhere, but they really don't give a fuck about any potential litigation, which I don't think has ever happened over a shape. But yeah, they were really not afraid to just pretty much rip everything from the G703. Sensor performance-wise, this is using a 3950, but like I've mentioned, it's not like a 3950 automatically means you have an old Razer level of implementation. I'm not saying the sensor implementation is shoddy on this, but yeah, it definitely just does feel like run-of-the-mill standard 3950, not that elite echelon of sensor implementation, which I would say the Pulsar X3 does have a very similar sensor experience to this. There's, of course, the sensor position difference. You can see it is positioned higher up on the Terra, and that is something that I complained about in my X3 review, along with the clicks, and just this mouse just had a weird feeling. And yeah, I just feel that in general, the Terra is a bit of a safer bet. That being said, if you do have small hands and you think the shape is going to be large for you, Pulsar does make the mini size, so that is something to consider. And yeah, there aren't many other features on the Terra itself to cover, so I will mention that it does come with this LCD screen dongle. This is the 8K dongle, and you do have to pair the mouse to it. It doesn't come paired out of the box. A slight nuisance, but once it's paired, it just is what it is. It does look kind of dim when I, like, look down on it at my desk, but, you know, it displays your settings, the battery, all of that stuff. It's pretty cool. It's a premium feature, I guess. I believe they also supply you with some grip tape, some dot skates, and even some cards that are like, these feel like fucking hotel key cards. There's so many of them. I think they, like, serve as discounts or something. And yeah, that's going to be about all for the review. It does seem like you get some goodies in the box. And in conclusion, I would say this lives up to the hype. Like, it's an affordable, lightweight ergo. No, like, glaring quality issues. It serves its purpose of being a modern G703 alternative. I do think it's a bit of an antiquated shape, but if there are still people who love it, I mean, this is good for them. So yeah, I do feel that the Terra is worthy of the seal of approval. It's the first one I've given out in 2 months, so it's not just to meet the monthly quota. And despite the fact this isn't going to be like my top ergo, something I really keep in rotation, I do think it's a very good option, specifically for palm grip, or just anybody who wants a very high-profile mouse that has a super prominent feeling in the back of your hand, or used and enjoyed the G703 in the past. I can give this a recommendation. But yeah, like and sub if you enjoyed. Peace out.